And we returned by 9 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So
folks, bundle up.
Right. And
it's chilly, but it's a great experience.
It is, and it's to recommit ourselves to the struggle. And this year, from 1492, put our numbers together, 517 years of Indian resistance to colonization in the Americas. And that, by the way, Kilu, is when the American Indian movement began, was in 1492. We only formalized it in July of 1968. But when the first Indian, the first Taino, the first Arawak Indians that were killed in 1492 out in Hispaniola,
that is now
El Salvador Islands out there in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
That's when the American Indian movement began.
Right.
Our challenge and to reclaim our destiny.
Right.
And the way the toll is ringing these days with climate change and global warming, people, by and large, even at the United Nations, are looking to indigenous peoples for some answers, for some wisdom.
Wisdom is absolutely right.
Of course, the UN, as we know, the last couple of decades have been kind of aimless and they're bankrupt.
Well, they're trying to destroy the Kyoto Treaty right now as we speak. The U.S. is trying to undermine it as opposed to advancing it and supporting it and going even further than the Kyoto Treaty. It's unbelievable that they don't want to do what has to be done to save the planet.
Right, and as we're moving toward the Kyoto 2 with Copenhagen in December on the climate conference, world conference, as indigenous peoples of the world, whether we're black, white, red, or yellow Indians of the four directions, we're feeling a little bit anxious because a lot of the preparatory talks leading up toward that world conference are not including wording that honors or respects our sacred mother, the earth, or very much reference to the rights of indigenous peoples. So we're very concerned about that, and we have to have strong delegations of indigenous peoples as advocates to go to Copenhagen, plan to be there in December at that world conference, and assert our rights, and that we be deeply involved in the final text of this global warming agreement.
Absolutely.
And that we struggle together. But I think the bond, the relationship to the Mother Earth and the world countries has to be asserted and developed there, or we could lose it, forever. And that's why we go to Alcatraz, October 12th, throughout the Americas. It's very important. It's also referred to as Dia de la Raza, or the Indigenous Peoples Day.
Right.
And
more and more people should abandon these parades and carrying on, because if they really understood the cruelty and the mass murder that went down.
Well, they're changing, Kilu, as some people are now calling it Italian American Day, or
so some people are. They're starting to get
changing
it now.
but as Columbus Day and Discovery Day, I think we need to get away from those lies. Just like we got to get away from the mascots, we have to honor Indian people and the contributions that we have been providing. We have to enlighten everybody to the treaties that exist and the agreements that are still valid. We have to honor Guam, for example, if they want their right to self-determination and to be under the heel of the United States, or under the trusteeship of the United Nations, where even Hawaii got hijacked, as you recall.
Of course.
Hawaii was under the UN trusteeship. Puerto Rico as well.
Diego Garcia
Islands there out in the
people are
Indian
fighting.
Ocean.
They just paid Britain to take the people off the island and just.
Well, this is the struggle that we as Indian people are waging, and we want to create AIM chapters throughout and struggle together, and call on the United States, Canada, and New Zealand to sign the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of the World's Indigenous Peoples that was adopted by the General Assembly in September of 2007.
All right. Well, you've given us wonderful, very valuable information. Thank you so much for being our guest here on Freedom is a Constant Struggle.
Thank you.
Tony Gonzalez. And we must have you back. And thank Stephen Leader for board opping. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. And please tune in next Friday when we'll have Gloria LaRiva here from the Answer Coalition to talk about the Cuban Five. So, all power to the people.
Oh.
Free Leonard Peltier and all political prisoners. Good evening.